Alright guys, I guess that I am actually broadcasting here. Just trying to rearrange my face here. And yeah, I think that's good. Maybe I should turn on my little light. Give it one sec. That'll make my beautiful face show up a little better, I think. Beautiful is a matter of opinion. Yeah, I'm just here in Photoshop and going to be doing some stuff while you guys are watching. Hopefully you are watching. And I'm just prepping this weird little insecty type character for animation in Moho. So I've got my I should have my my keys here set up, so I'll try not to use my actual keyboard to do it. And what I got here, got coughing sick people. Okay, so let's go down to the body layer because I've got those separated now. I need to fill in this area here that's now missing. I've been using a lot of AI to help with that, so don't be upset. You can handle it, I'm sure. Sort of. Let's try the Alt key here and the scroll and my little keys on my graphic display. That's what I'm using. It's pretty cool. I'm just going to start with fixing these pants here. I'm just going to sort of put in an area that's missing. And when I say AI here, what I mean is I'm going to use this generative fill from Photoshop instead of taking 30 minutes to paint that little pant area. Because I'm not necessarily drawing beautiful images just right now. I'm correcting things so I can make beautiful animation. That's looking pretty good. I think that one is probably the more complete, appropriate look. I'm going to turn these layers on again to see what's kind of missing here. Okay, so I want to fill in those straps primarily. Pretty easy. And just do the same thing. Come down here and kind of give it an idea where I want these to be coming from and connect to, I guess. Give this a little more information here. I think that'll work. I'm going to make that a little wider in this area. And I think that'll work. Now I'm going to sort of thin out the top. There we go. Let's just see what will happen if we fill that. And we need to, we should really be doing it on that body layer, I think. And I'll generate. So if you guys have any comments or anything like that like you'd like to make, go ahead. I'm just looking up at the screen, making sure I can see that, which hasn't happened in a while, that ability. I'm going to go ahead too and zoom out. I feel like this thing is right up my nose. So let me bring up my video configure. I don't see it coming up though, which is kind of odd. That's a little weird. I'm not sure why. That's all good there though. Yeah, it should have my camera come up. I'm going to turn the camera off and then I'm going to turn it back on, and that brings me back, but when I click configure video I'm not getting any of the video info I think I should be getting. Either way, it's fine. I'll zoom out later in a different time, different video. So my point here is now we got those pants done. This made a really bad version, I think, of filling in that strap. That's not really what it needs to be, but I think that one is the closest. I'm going to go ahead here real quick though. I'm going to undo this layer. Just delete it. I'm going to go ahead and merge these together because I think that might be part of the problem. And now I'm going to go in and create that that connection. Plus I need to turn his arm off and on and see just where that strap's probably coming from. I'm not even sure we need them though. Let me just come back out here. It's kind of a cool extra, but I don't think we even need them. I say we get rid of them. So I'll turn off the arm. I'm just going to go ahead and circle these and wipe them out. There's no point for it. See? Done. Good. Good to go. Okay. And so with that, we have that upper arm, the lower arm that we do need to separate the hand from. So let's go ahead and do that. Just going to select that layer, deselect everything else. And now I'm going to come in here and make sure I get the hand separated. Probably something a bit like this. And I need to make sure too. So this is just, I'm not going to cut out the pants. This is just the arm layer that you're seeing being effective here. So I'm going to cut that and paste special here in place, of course. And then now we can clean those up. So the arm is missing a bit. The hand is missing a bit too. So on the arm layer, which will be this guy, I'm going to paint its little nub back in here. So I'm just going to kind of come down and do one of these things. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit better. And I keep forgetting, you know, we can zoom in. Oop, that's my opacity. My bad. We can zoom in anytime that we want. Keep forgetting I turn the opacity up that way. But I'm going to come in, zoom in, and then I can paint this a little better. So on that arm layer, just give it a rounded end, I guess. It's just faster to generative fill. I could paint it, but then we've got to do lots of little small bits of matching, which, yes, that's the real artistic way to do it, of course, but I figure if I have the option of doing this, which also this isn't going to work. I have my hand layer in the way, I think is the problem. So I'm going to take that hand layer, drop it down here. I'm going to take the arm layer there, turn the hand back on, maybe, and I'm generative fill this area of the arm layer. It may or may not work because I want it to be combined with the arm and not the hand. I don't know what it thinks it's doing, but it's not right. Let's go ahead and not use those, get rid of that layer now. I haven't had this kind of problem with it too much before, but I think also what I need to do is just go ahead and turn off the hand again, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the body too, and I'm just going to try this again a little more. Oops, I keep going a little too far, not thinking about where I need to be. Let's just go like so, something like this. Hopefully this will work. That's good stuff right there. Okay, let's see. Nope, nope, and nope. I am not sure why it's not able to do this all that well. Let's try this again. I'm just going to delete that layer. And I think I am going to paint it. So select, deselect, let's just paint it. And sample the color. Probably something in the mid-range of it all. I'll just come in and round this out. Try to not hit those lines too much there. And then of course we can come in with a little some other colors. Sort of paint these in and on to help blend. Once again, this is the real art part. If you want to get technical, I'll be using too soft of a brush here though, but it does say it's hard brush, so that's a little odd, I think. And then we can come in here again and sample maybe our darker color a little bit there. Just kind of break this up. Okay, works for me. That's not going to have a black outline there because that's the part that's going to have to blend. So let's go ahead and somehow I think I full screened my interface here. Let me just view, fit on screen. I need to find my tools because evidently my workspace has changed. I'm just going to go back to opening all my windows again. Apparently they are closed. I don't know why. My layers, all that must have popped off to the side. Here we go. Nope. What did he do? What did he do? I'm just going to reset the workspace. Reset the essentials. Huh. Not sure what happened here. Looks like I zoomed the entire thing in a weird way. So now I'm just going to come back like so. Okay, good. Now what I need to do is on my layers here. Let's find out where our hand nubbin and all that was. So that looks good for the arm. Pretty much. And now we're going to look at the hand. It's not bad. Turn off the arm and try to do the same thing for the hand in reverse. So I'm just going to select the layer of the hand, turn off the arm, and we can come in and paint that to have some type of connector. I'm just going to make a base color to start with. Then I can come in and do all the highlights and everything that need to be there. And maybe grab, I don't know, something like, I'll just take a couple of these, make a few lines that kind of continue back, you know, for when that gets shown, and then I can take a little smudge, sort of rub some stuff around there, and it should blend okay. So when that's all back, I mean, I think I can live with that, especially if I put the hand on top. I think it's, I don't know if that's better or not. We'll live with it though. This is a very fast version of everything, so you know, if you don't like the way it looks, I'm gonna go and see if there is. Very odd, it won't let me configure the video, and I think what it is I don't do it here. I need to do it in the NVIDIA tab. Let me just check that real quick. My camera, let's open this up, and that is where I would do it. So within there, let's just go. My zoom says it's at 1, so I guess that's as far back as it should be getting, and I don't see one anywhere else, so oh well, that's cool. What I'll wind up doing probably is just moving it farther away from myself at some point, because it should be somewhere back there. Cool, cool, cool. Let's go ahead and knock back out of there and figure out what we're doing. Just move this down here. And now, let's get our body turned back on and figure out what else needs to happen. Obviously, we need to separate this arm here. I'm thinking, depending upon what we're going to do with him, it'd be kind of cool if we could move the backpack around, you know, lengthen the straps. As the body turns, swing it more into view. To do that, of course, we would have to make the backpack a separate object as well. Let's get the main part of the body done first before we do any of that business. I'm going to go here to the main body again and just select what the arm is going to wind up being. So I'm just going to come here and cut what's touching here up against the pant leg, and then just grab all the rest of this and say, yep, we're going to cut you. Hey, cut you too. We're going to cut that one, not copy, and we're going to paste that back, special, paste in place. And then on that layer, of course, we'll have to go in and finish out the rest of that arm. Let's figure out where we put it. It should be right here. And now we're going to draw on that layer and fix out the rest of that arm. So I'm just going to turn off the body again. We can see it looks kind of similar here. And I'm just going to make a makeshift arm shape, I think. I'm going to turn the body back on to kind of see if that may be where that could go. It's not perfect. It needs some more on here. So we'll just continue our shape up to kind of like this, maybe. And then now we'll go ahead and I'm going to turn off the body just in case. And I'm just going to generative fill this. Let me make sure I get more of this in here. There we go. And we're just going to generate. See what it does. It's going to be kind of like similar to this other arm. If it doesn't work too well, I'll go and just clone paint from this other arm into this one. Yeah, see, it doesn't know what it's looking for. It's making things like cliffs. So with that, I'm going to undo that fill, and I'm going to go ahead and just clone paint using our clone stamp tool. And carefully, as much as I can, I'm just going to, you know, go from this area and, clone from this area on the body, or I'm sorry, on the arm. Which arm is this? Let's use the upper. We're going to clone from this layer, and we're going to paint it onto this one. So I'm just going to get a general color, and if it overlaps or does anything strange, that's fine, because now I can come up here and do the same thing again, and it should, oh, we need to still sample it from the arm, then back, and now it will, you know, paint in a bit as we go, sampling from the arm again. Let's just start somewhere about here. We're gonna go back this way. It looks like not the best place I could have done that. So I'm gonna go here. We're gonna sample from up here now, come back over, and now sort of paint this back in. So we're getting a similar, you know, type of arm. You can sample this pretty much from anywhere, and then back in there to help fill it out. Anything that's too similar, I'm going to just deselect real quick. Anything that's too similar or repeating, you're probably not going to notice. I mean, I don't really. I'm not seeing anything that's duplicated looking. This little, you know, bit here maybe, and that's good. So we're going to need to make an outline around that. So I'm just going to go in, get a black brush here. I'm just going to go in on, I think this is the entire arm, and I'm just going to come here and create an outline. And of course we can add in bits and different stuff to really break that up if we want, you know, like that and so on. Okay, good enough for our purposes right now. Works for me. And then, of course, we're going to have to break that arm up into its 3 separate pieces. So while we have that up, I'm just going to cut straight across this wrist. Cut and paste it. Of course, the paste in place function. And then we're going to go to the rest of the arm. That's the hand. This is the rest of the arm. Make sure you're always on your correct layer. Trust me, that is it'll kill you if you don't. And we're going to cut that piece now. Paste special in place. I'll go back and fill in the gaps here in a bit. I just want to make sure everything is kind of where it's supposed to be. Okay, now we see the arm is in front of the body, as is this. So I'm going to move the body up in front of that layer, and now we have this movable arm that is behind, and I'm going to right click and create a new group from layers and call this arm right. And you can kind of test a little bit with this. If I rotate, edit, transform, rotate. I thought you could set your rotation point, but you get the idea that we have this arm and can rotate it up. Kind of see. I thought you could move the pivot point of that, but I don't remember where that is. Well, it's not really all that important right now. We know that that works. We know it's a good separate arm. We know it's an arm group. I'm going to take the other arm now, and we're going to group it in its own little organizational group. So I'm going to just right click, new group from layers, arm left. And if you're wondering, this will help us organize once we bring it into Moho, because it'll all be chopped up in these nice folders. The head, I think right now is not in a folder, so I'm going to go in here and create its own group and right click here, new group from layers. We'll call this head. Not all of this is done yet. I'll have to go in and figure out how to break up the small bits, but for right now I'm just chopping it into pieces that we can pretty much refine after the fact. So that arm needs to be in the back. This is going to be the body, and we'll just leave it unnamed because we have to cut it separately again from the lower half of the body here. So while I select it, I'm going to come through here, turn off our arms, which is nice to have the arms on separate layers because you can just get them out of your way real quick. I'm going to come in through here and just sort of trace this out to where it's going to be chopped off. I'm just going to, I guess I'll surround the lower half. Unfortunately, I was off screen there, so let me try that again. And now I can come in and, I don't know what's going on here. I think this stupid, I don't know why they make this pop-up menu just jump right where your pin is. It's very, very annoying and distracting to do that. It needs to happen in a fixed place or somewhere, use that AI to make it realize where your pin is. I think that'd be simple. Okay, edit and cut and edit, paste special, paste in place right here. And now I will need to go and finish out, not under the shirt, probably above the pants. We're going to extend those pants up. So right now the pants are in front. I want to put them below that layer to where that anything extra of the jeans will be under that shirt area. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the top half of the body, and this is where we're gonna extend all this up. So I'm just going to go from here, kind of do one of these and something kind of like this, and just sort of give it something to latch onto there. And we're going to fill it. This way, if he bends or whatever, it won't separate from the shirt at the waist when he does. Okay, that is a really, really bad version of this. I'm not sure why it's not doing anything more productive. Let's go ahead and delete that layer and try this again. I think I'm going to maybe write a prompt in here to say, you know, extend or something. Because it obviously has no idea what I'm intending for it. So we'll go generative fill, and we'll say, you know, more of the pants. I'm going to put extend pants. Maybe you'll know what I mean. And we'll say generate. You know, the AI in here is cool, but it's definitely not as smart as something like ChatGPT, which it would be really beneficial if it was, because you could just talk to it like a human. You know, I think these pants look really stupid, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So it did a better job there, but it keeps putting in a hand in. So I think I'm going to go with something like that. And now I want to extend this part here, maybe even farther, or cut that off. Let's just cut it off. I think it's probably might be the better way. Let's go ahead and grab these and merge them first. And then now I think I'm going to cut off this section there like that. And we'll see what it looks like with the shirt. Put back on over it. And yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I'd really like it to have a little more on the front, but I think if I really had to work with it, we probably could. Okay, so let's get the pants separated from the shorts. We also need to make some kind of pelvis-y section here. And the best way I think to do that is going to be just cut these legs straight across from it, like just like this. So I'm just going to go boom. I'm going to exclude this little shadow. We're probably not going to use this shadow, but just to keep it from being an issue, I'll do that. I'm going to cut and paste this one. Paste special right there. So now the leg is, you know, actually separate from the rest. And then I'm going to take the main leg here and cut it off as well, just something kind of like this. I don't think we need to save that shadow. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to cut, paste it back in. Remember, when I say paste, I mean paste special in place at this point anyway. So the shadow, I think I'm going to go back here and cut it out. Doesn't need to be in there. And so everything pretty much here on these pants here, I'm going to just call this pelvis. And then we have our right leg and our left leg, which will also have to be broken up into separate pieces. So let's go ahead and take the legs. Let's just use this left leg. And I'm going to draw right through where it's supposed to be here. You can just generally get everything else as long as you're around it. And I'm going to cut and paste that back in. So now that this lower piece of the leg is separated out, we'll have to make an extension to it, where if he bends his leg, you can see the leg lift a little bit there, which will be very cool. It's a bit tedious, but it's totally worth it. And I'm wondering on the foot if I want to manage this. I'll probably just extend the leg and make the foot its own separate object, and then bend it in Moho appropriately. So with that as well, now this was the upper leg. We need to make a lower leg. Pretty simple. Yep, back on there. I'm just going to surround the lower leg. Go in here where it would be cut away and cut and paste in place again. And with that, we should have a separate lower leg. Oops. I don't know why that happened. Let's undo that business. And okay, this is our lower leg. That's what we needed. We were on the wrong layer. I'm going to go here and do that real quick again. separating this lower leg piece from everything else. So now we can cut it. Probably should be using a special because that's going to be Shift Control V as opposed to Control V. So there's that leg by itself, the shoe, etc. And I just want to make sure that we get this stuck in a folder together. So that's the upper, that's the lower, that's the shoe. I'm just going to stick all three of these in their own folder for the moment. We're going to call this leg left. Leg L. That way this can be turned off and on, and it's in its own space. This is the other leg that we need to work on now. And I'm just going to start chopping it apart. So with this included, we're just going to come here and only have to worry about where it meets that leg. So we cut and paste in place. And now we're going to go to the lower leg, do the same thing. So this will be here, and this will be that. So once you get a little rhythm going, it gets a lot faster. All right, so boom, boom. Cool. Now we're going to take those three pieces, the shoe, leg, and the other leg. We're going to group those together and call this leg right. You didn't see that coming, I bet. Okay, so our legs are hacked apart. They're not fixed or finished. Our arms are hacked apart and kind of finished. Let's get this other arm on. So we have two arms and so on. Yeah, so this is just kind of the process over and over. I'm thinking about making him a lower jaw. I'm not sure if he's going to be speaking or not yet. He might just be through the whole thing. We'll see. I might change that later. I can always re-import stuff or whatever, or add it in. So with the legs, let's just go ahead and get the arms back off again. And with the legs, if we turn off our upper body, we can see that if we were to move, let's see, we'll just go back in here. Let's go with the pelvis, because the pelvis has to be drawn so the legs can move. I'm just going to turn the legs off now and figure out the pelvis. And I'm just trying to turn this off and on to know, where it would need to have that blend at. And I think I'm just going to paint it, or at least clone it, clone stamp it, and clone stamp it. Let's see, we'll just kind of find my leg here. So pretty much from here to the outside. So I'm just gonna kind of stamp like so. Make it the same. Clone the heck out of it. It's just a kind of a cover up, so we don't have to really worry about, uh-oh, this isn't the same as that or whatever. It'll be pretty much covered. I'm going to check with the leg turned on again, and that pretty much works. It's not perfect, but it is workable. And so now that leg, we're going to have to now do the same with the leg. So I'm going to turn off the pelvis. Okay, and on that leg layer, the legless. I think I double clicked my layer. I need to get this over here where you guys can see it because it's on my other screen. Let me close that now. With this leg left layer, I need to open it and go into the thigh portion here, which is the upper. And I need to, let's just clone from about here until we have enough of a nub, as I like to call it, to round that out to where if it bends, you're never going to see the other part. I'm going to turn the pelvis back on real quick, and where are we? There we go. And I think that's okay. I think on that leg though, I should probably get rid of this little section there. It's where it doesn't look too repetitive. Okay, same thing now with the other leg and the pelvis for the other leg. I'm going to turn this one off and turn the other one on. It's crazy how you have to do this. So with the pelvis, okay, I'm going to sort of sample an area. And fill it in with a little bit of color. We're just filling the gaps. This is stuff that hopefully will never be even seen or noticed because it's behind the other pieces. And now the leg right is the one we have to worry about. So I'm going to turn the pelvis off and on, kind of see where we need to go. And I'm going to go, of course, with the thigh portion here. And we're going to turn the pelvis off and on and see where that's got to meet. Okay. And with that upper area, making sure once again, yep, that we can go like this. This ensures we have a little bit of overlap depending upon where anything needs to exist. And now turning the pelvis back and on and off, you can kind of see that it should blend enough. And we'll decide later if we're going to be putting the pelvis in front or behind. I think it's fine and probably better if it is behind the legs. Let's go ahead and turn on the other one just to see if there's any problem with that. And I think it looks all pretty darn good. Okay, so we'll close these up just to kind of get a little more. We can turn off the pelvis at this point. We can even turn off one or the other of the legs. So let's work on this front leg. This is the left one. We're going to work on the section that's down. So I'm going to turn off the layer for the upper, and we're going to clone an image from here right on up, where we have an extension of that leg. Maybe even do it a little bit again, just to give us a little more to work with. There we go, done. And now I'm going to turn off the shoe. So if we need to, we can even extend the sock here down slightly, just to give us a little more length, in case the shoe moves around. We don't want it to be revealing, anything. And then of course the shoe needs to be in front. There we go. So now if that shoe layer were to move, I will show you, it would be able to kind of bounce up and down without completely revealing that leg. So you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and call this shoe left just to get a little more organized, because nothing right now is labeled. We're going to say shin left. And of course this will be thigh left. Of course it's going to bring up the dialog box I don't want, so thigh left. So that is all good on the left leg. I'm gonna close that up for a second. Leg right, we could also rename our stuff, and we also need to correct it. So let's go ahead and look here. We've got that one, but we need to correct the lower. I'm gonna put change the name here to thigh right, so we know, and we can turn it off. And then this one's going to be the shin right, and we need to correct it. I'm going to turn the shoe off and just work on the win, or evidently the shin. It says win, but I'm going to put shin. And we can work on it and make it longer now too with our clone stamp. I don't know why I almost said colon, but All right, cool. And we'll get that there and get this extended there. It's going to do one more piece, probably, maybe go from here. Just sort of, just give us a little more length there on it, and we'll do the same thing coming down from it. This one doesn't have a sock. Let me just double check and see if that's in. Yeah, that sock is in the shoe, so that's fine because we can still extend this into that sock, and we'll have no problem. I have no problems with it either way. So I'm just gonna make that come down a little farther. We'll do it just one more little extension there. And now when we turn the shoe back on, we'll put the shoe in front like we said, and that should have no problems in any way. I'm gonna rename this shoe right, and this one will be shin right, which it is. That's our thigh right, and then I can close up our legs for the moment. Pelvis is fine. I'm gonna see what it looks like on top of the legs though. It works either place. I think it might look better at the bottom though. Okay, and then we have that arm. Oops, I think I dropped the pelvis into a group which I didn't want. So we're just gonna stick that there. The arm can come back on. That is the rear arm. We do have to cut it apart now. So I'm gonna turn off the legs and the pelvis and the head. And then we can come in here and cut this arm into the correct pieces. Cut my arm into pieces. And we're going to make sure we're on the arm right block. Looks like it is cut into pieces. We need to correct them though. So let's turn off the middle piece. And on the upper, right here, we will add our little extra using the clone tool. It's going to grab something from this area and just sort of paint a little nub going across the middle like so. And turn back that bottom piece on, and I think that's fine. And then the lower portion where the wrist is, we can turn the hand off. We'll grab that section here, and we'll go ahead and give us a extended wrist here. There we go, enough. And then we'll turn the hand on, turn the arm off, and try to do the same kind of thing on the hand. And we should be good there. Just enough to give it a little extra connection. And we turn that back on. Everything should look okay. And let's go ahead and just kind of see how it all shakes out here. I think that's working fine. The head and the arm. These are just the real basics of the shapes. So with that, I may go over to Moho and check it out and test this out. Just kind of want to make sure I've got things named appropriately. So I'm going to call this torso. Leg, pelvis, arm. These are fine as long as they're in that folder named. They don't have to be named a certain way to work, but I just want to make sure that I don't get lost with them. So I'm going to say save as, and we're just going to stick this somewhere. We're going to call this that, and I'm going to say, yeah, let's just call him Bug for now. We'll just stick him in there. My cat's name's Bug, so she's probably, really excited about that. I know her. Okay, now we're going to flip our stuff around. So let me just change my screen. Where's my screen here? Right here. Back to the Moho side of things. I'll grab this out of the way. And now we should be able to open up everything appropriately here. Let me just fix something. Okay, that is not horrible, but this really should go somewhere else. I'm going to stick it here and probably size down the screen, the Moho screen, just so we have a little bit of room for the video part. But just the same, hopefully you guys can still see that. I'm going to come in here and import a PSD file. We'll just do the general import. And I'm going to move this to where I'm not showing everybody all my dirty pictures of me when I was 6. Just kidding. Let's go here and go to our folder. And I'm going to open up this PSD. Now, it will open it up. Give us the choice of doing it individually or so forth. We're going to do individual. And it puts it all in the same layout that it was in and brings in the entire thing looking exactly, luckily, like it did in good old Photoshop. So I'm going to put him there. I'm going to zoom in and try to use my screen. I keep playing down there. I don't want that. I'm going to just shift around here and that should work. Now we have all of these different things separated out. We got the head, we got the arm, the torso, the leg. So now I'm going to test. I'm going to go into each one of these pieces and I'm going to reconfigure where certain things go. So with that, let's get our origin of the head probably around here. The origin of the arm left probably around here. And I'm just going to do this all the way down. In the head layer, which we didn't separate his nose out, we should do that still. Basically the eye left should be here, the eye right, and you get the idea. I'm just going to go through here and tell everything, you know, where its origin point should be. The stalks, of course, you know, put their origins down toward the bases of them, and so on. So the arm left has its thing, and then we'll open up the eye. This will be important. The pupil L should be right where it's at. The eye L should be there. And let's try the eye right now. The pupil R is good, and that is fine too. So now in the arm left, we will go here for the hand and stick it toward the wrist. And we'll go up here, and this one should be right at that elbow joint. And this one should be at the shoulder joint where it's going to twist from. And we just keep going down. So torso should probably be at the base of the spine, essentially right about there. And the thigh is going to be where you would expect. The shoe would be at the ankle, approximately here. The shin at the knee. Same thing on the other side, so I'm just going to keep going. This leg here, leg right, thigh right, pretty much in the same place. Shoe, and the knee here. The pelvis, I'm going to put right in the center of the pelvis because it's basically acting as our root for everything. You move the pelvis, you move the body. The arm right now is going to be somewhere up here. The hand is here. And our good old elbow is going to be somewhere here. Don't know exactly because I can't see it yet. And this one will be our shoulder again for that side. This layer 1 has nothing because it's just the default layer that came in. So I'm going to delete it. And now we have our entire figure. If we were to move certain layers, they would move accordingly, but not like they're jointed, because they're not. But if I do grab the head and move it, it'll move about where it's supposed to pivot from. The eye won't really pivot because, well, it's not supposed to. And let's see, the head layer of once again is just going to be the head layer. That's why we put that in a group, because it holds all that together. If we move a stalk, then we're going to wind up getting it from its base like we wanted. Same way with the other one here. And let's see, we'll just grab the whole arm and see what happens here. That works. If we were just to grab the hand, we have this. And of course the elbow. It will not move the hand because they're not actually connected to each other. Torso, we know is that. We have all the same things here. So we have the leg, which is not in the right place. You notice its origin point is completely off. So we're going to put that here. The thigh does have its correct origin, but we're just interested in moving the leg right now to make sure they function somewhat properly. The right leg should be fine. Looks good. And then the pelvis, it's just pretty much going to move. It's only going to look right or doing something once we have all this done. And then the right arm, of course, should be, hey man, how's it going? And that should be good there. So now next, we're going to wind up doing the bone layer for this guy. So I'm going to select the top layer, right click it, and convert to bone. And that'll make this able to put a skeleton on it. So with nothing selected, we just click on our add bone and we start working the magic for it. I'm going to make a root bone that kind of comes out this way. Just something that I can root everything to. And then this first spine bone will pretty much be the pelvis bone, I think. Then the spine, lower half, the spine, upper half, is just my chest layer. We can give it a neck if we want to, but it's going to be pretty insignificant. And then I'm going to take the head layer and just drag it up to the top. With that one selected, I'm going to go ahead and create stalks like this, 1, 2, 3, and maybe a little one at the end to wiggle. I don't know yet. We're going to go back up that chain to the head bone and do the same thing over here. So 1, 2, 3, and a wiggle. We'll probably make these dynamic. I'm going to worry about the eyes. Well, I should probably worry about the eyes now that I think about it, because we are going to have to mount them. But I'm not going to... Yeah, let's do it. So the head bone, just come back down to it. With it selected, I need to parent some eye bones, basically. So I'm going to do like this. I don't think I have to worry about the pupil. I'm not even sure that I'm really needing to worry about these eye bones, but I'm like, why not? They're here. We'll see. We'll see if I need them. I'm leaving all that alone. It's very simple. And then we're going to go ahead and scroll up a bit and start adding these arms. Remember, none of these are linked to anything yet, so don't get any crazy ideas. This is going to go to here. This is going to go from there to here. And then from here, I'm just going to do the whole hand as one piece right now. It's generally the easiest way to start. So I'm going to go here, and we're going to go from here to here, and once again to the hand. Okay, I'm going to make sure that what my bones are parented to really quickly. This bone is the one I'm worried about. Let's just select this bone. I want it to be parented to this forearm, but I don't think it is. It is. Okay, well that's good. I thought there was something odd what was parented to the head bone, so I'm going to double check it. And I think that's okay. Actually, I'm not sure why this is parented to the head bone. So let's go back here. This needs to be parented to our chest bone. So we'll reparent that bone to the chest bone. Whoops. This bone here, we're going to reparent to the chest bone. That was accidentally parented to the head. So is this arm. So I'm going to come back over here and reparent to our, chest bone. I think that is all correct now. It should be. I'm going to just select the eye and reparent it to this bone, which I think it already is. So I think that's all good so far. Okay. Now click off all the bones. I'm going to select this big bone here. And what I'm thinking about doing, instead of selecting the pelvis and having this control that, but then this control the legs, probably the smarter way, I think. So I'm going to go right to this bone. And now I'm going to create the leg bones from there. So I'm just going to come down here to the knee to the ankle to the foot, and the foot to the toes. I think we have enough area that we could include a toe bend. So I'm just going to come down here to the knee, come down to the ankle, to the foot, and to a toe. And I think that will work. So now it's just a matter of getting all these linked up to their respective parts. So we also need to come through and turn off all the power of these bones. I like to not work that way with them. So I'm just going to select all the bones by clicking on marquee, selecting everything. And then I'm going to come to our bone strength and just click and drag to the left and make all those have no power. I don't believe there's any of these that need a link with a layer directly, meaning, well, I think the head could. That's not a bad idea. We'll see. So I'm going to select the head folder. No, I'm not. I'm going to select the head artwork itself. It's got no other bones and it's just a single layer. So I am going to link that one directly to the head bone. And then I am going to, since all these other bones are parented, those should be fine. I think all the rest of these are probably, other than the eyes maybe, I can probably parent the eyeballs. No, because the eye is, this is where I get confused. I think I'm going to go ahead and parent the eyeball to the head bone, I think. Because when the head moves, the eyeball should move. I don't think it needs any other, oh, not to the head bone, but to the eyeball bones. My bad. Okay, so that head layer, or that eye layer, I'm sorry, will be linked to that eye bone. So we'll select the current eye left and that bone. Then we'll get the current eye right and select that bone. Now those should be fine. I'm going to wiggle the head bone around here just to see what happens. It does move the eyes with the head, and that is what we want. Now I'm not parenting these pupils, I don't think. I might want to. I'm just kind of worried about what's going to happen when I go to move the pupil. I've done this before, but now I'm suddenly feeling a little odd about it. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Heck with it. Let's take the right pupil, and that one also needs to be parented to the right eye bone. And then we'll take the left pupil and parent it to the left eye bone. I think normally I do parent those to the head, and I think that's why it's kind of thrown me a little bit. So if the head bone moves now, like so, all that moves with it, and then I should be able to go through here, and if I want, wiggle that. And this isn't going to probably be appropriate how it is. I'll probably have to fix that. So these head bones, these eye bones probably are not going to stay. In fact, I think I can just delete the bones. Let's go back to the bone layer and get rid of those, because I don't think those eye bones are going to help us. They're not on stalks. They're just bones. And then we'll have to tell the eye layers to parent to the head bone, and that'll be good. That way they follow. You know, they just follow along when the head moves, and then I don't have to parent the pupils and stuff, because those should be moving freely if needed be. So that eye right folder will be parenting to the head bone, and the eye left is also parented to that. So now when we move the head bone, Those work, but then I can still come in here and move these layers individually without a problem. Okay, that is what we want. So now the eye stalks need to be parented, but they have to be done in a certain way where you're binding the points. So I'm just going to take the stalk left. It is a single layer, but we've got like 4 bones in it, so it's a little more complex. And I'm just going to come down here and... What are you working on? Productive. More productive. Okay, and with that layer selected, I am going to... I'm on frame 0. I'm here. Okay, I am confusing myself. It's just what I do best. And with that, now what I'm going to try and do... it may not let me because of the way the folders are set up, but I'm going to check on that. With my eye stalk left selected, I want to be able to select the points within this layer. And I don't know why I'm not able to. I'm sure it's something I've forgotten to do. Let's find out. I don't want to be on bones. I am on frame 0. And it might, like I said, very well have to do with this stalk being in the head folder. So I'm going to take the stalks. I'm going to pull these out of this head folder. And now I probably should be able, by selecting on one of them, maybe not, be able to... Okay, I hate when this happens and I don't know what I've done wrong. So I've got the bones, they're fine, they're not associated with anything. The stalks, they are in the head folder, but what, Sean? But what? Okay, all that works, but the stalks are not in the head folder actually. And neither is the, or are they? Yes, they are. Okay. And I already tried taking them out. I'm trying to select a layer, and for whatever reason, I can't. Oh, I think I might have parented this to something bad. Let's go back to the head folder. The pupil. So I'm not able to select points is the issue I'm having. So let's see. I don't know why. I know it's something I'm forgetting. So the head is here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release all the layers and points, the head. I'm going to select that head layer again, which here I am. And I am going to bind it to that bone again. It's red now. That's a better sign. And then I'm going to come back here, deselect. Oh, it's because it was selected and wasn't. Let's check on this stalk, though. I need to be able to select this layer. And then I need to be able to go into that layer and find the points of it. This is something I'm having a little bit of an issue with, because I'm not sure why. Now, I know that this is... Oh, I do know why. I'm a silly, silly man. These are all non-vector images. So this is... it has no mesh, which we need to add to it. Otherwise, we cannot manipulate its points, or bind its points for that matter. So for the stalk... Wow, Sean. We need to come up here to draw and create mesh layer. And this is going to create a mesh layer that essentially goes around this entire piece of artwork. And then now I can take that and break it up however I need to make it have enough resolution to let us bend it around however we need. So I'm just going to add a few more points just to make sure it's good and make sure it's not going to do anything weird. And let's go ahead and just kind of create some points. there. I don't know that those are doing what I would like them to do. Let me undo that real quick. I'm just going to come from this side and just sort of create a line here that goes together. This really should go like so. Okay, I'm not sure why that's happening the way it is. I can't see that, but let's try. Weird. Okay, boom. And then you have to click and drag. Click and drag, and click and drag. And now we have that. And what we're trying to do is break up this mesh that creates the middle here. Just enough to give it more resolution. We have multiple bones here, so we want to make sure they bend all the way across correctly. Okay. We got something going on here I don't like, so I'm going to try and either delete a point. There should be a point removal, maybe just an alt click on a point or something. I'm going to grab, oops, escape. I'm going to grab this point that is around here, and I'm going to delete it. I don't like this mesh doing this, so let me back up just a little bit. Okay, something happened while I was doing that, so let's figure this out. I'm just going to come from this one and drag it to that one. I'm going to come from here and go to there. Do a few of these just to give some breakup. And for the most part, it works. Got to make sure we don't get this weird extra like that happening. I don't know why that's happening. There we go. For some reason, it's trying to close the shape, I guess, that it didn't need to. Okay, so with that now, we do have this mesh over the other. And we need to also parent this mesh essentially to these bones, and we have to do this with points. So within this warp layer, I need to select the points and the bones I want to match up to each other. Right in here, I'm going to select this bone, and I'm going to select the points I want associated with it, which are going to be all these, apparently. Talking like I'm from Texas again. And we're going to just bind points. And then we're going to select the next bone right here. And I'm going to grab all the points that should be connected to it. Bind points and the next bone. And you just kind of keep continuing doing this back and forth. You select the bone and then you select the points and back and forth. And I think that's all fine. Something like that. And bind those, and the last bone here, and all those points. Now what's going to happen is when we move the head now, all these points of the stalk and the stalk itself will ultimately move as they should. I'm going to turn off or hide that stalk layer, deselect its points. Let's just like so, should be okay. Now when I go back to the bone layer and I select the bones, manipulate our bones, the head works, and that stalk moves with it as it should be. And then this will move, which obviously I need to take some of these base points and mount them with the head. And it looks like we've missed at least one point there. But you can see these actually bend now, and we can make that a smoother bend and stuff in the future. So let's go back now to that stalk, and you're just going to have to do this on everything you do involving bitmap artwork. So what I'm going to do here is grab that first bone that we had, and all these points in the bottom we don't want associated with that bone. So I'm going to actually grab the head bone and say, hey, all these bottom points here, right through Well, let's just go ahead and take all these because we don't need all that. We're going to associate all those with that head bone. You'll see what I mean when I come back up to our bone layer, and now we turn off the stalk there. When I move these, obviously those are going to move the way they were, but now when I move this one, it's going to stretch at that base instead of coming loose from the head. Now you can make this look better by using less bones, obviously. We can also add more resolution to this bone or into the mesh around this area so that it doesn't stretch into weird stuff. And we need to figure out now why that one is doing what it's doing, and the easiest way is just to come in here and select that layer, and we can see our points. We can go here now to that layer and its appropriate bone, and this one here, and we can see that one right here is not selected by either one, and we need to select one of the bones it's going to be associated with, and now we can grab that particular point and bind it to that bone. That way we don't have that problem anymore, and we can come back up and check it. The bone layer, just grab the bones now and move them around, and everything should move together without a problem. I'm not a big fan of how that's working, but that can be corrected, and let's kind of show you the way I would do that. We have all of these. There's just not a lot of resolution in here. There's 100 different ways you could do that, and an easy way at this point is just to add more of these point lines that essentially are going to tell it, hey, when this moves, move this piece with this bone. And because if these points here at the base are staying with this bone, we need to have these points kind of, you know, move around with the other one and give them a little more something to do. I'll show you what I mean. We're going to go back to our bone select tool, which we've got the right bone selected here now. And then now these points, we need to select all the points that we now again want to move with that bone that aren't already associated with it. Back to the bone layer, turn off this little mesh, and you'll see now when we move it, it's going to move a bit better than it did. Even though it's not perfect, it does move better throughout here. This will move just fine. And like I say, you just got to kind of keep adding to the mesh to increase its resolution and the stretching. Because you can see here, none of this moves right at that base, and I'd rather it did, so that we don't get this fold over. You just keep adding, changing, and doing whatever you need to do to make that work. So let's grab the bone here. Let's grab the points we want associated with it. And so I don't think these orange ones here should be associated, just the ones at the very bottom row. And I think that is our whole problem there. So with that bone selected, we'll grab the rest of these points. We'll come up and just say, hey, include these also in the green bone. Once again, we'll go back and check it out. And now when we move this, you'll see the stretching is a lot less ugly. We probably could include a couple other bones in there, but it does look a lot better than it did. And you just kind of do this with the entire skeleton. So cool. Well, I just want to make sure you guys knew kind of what I was working on today, and I appreciate you watching. And we'll talk to you later.